let's jump right in.
Yeah.
We're taking a deep dive today into Ubuntu, specifically the upcoming release of 25.04.
All right.
And we're looking at what that's going to mean for all of you desktop users out there.
Yeah.
Our source for this deep dive is a recent article from Phoronix. For those of you who don't know,
Right.
Phoronix, they're kind of the authority on Linux hardware and software.
Exactly.
So if they're reporting on it, it's worth paying attention to.
Absolutely.
One of the things that really stood out in this article was this idea that Ubuntu 25.04 could be a really big shift in the direction of the desktop experience. And one of the first kind of clues about that is the new leadership over there.
Right.
The article talks about Baptiste Lallement stepping into the role of Director of Engineering for Ubuntu Desktop.
Okay.
Now, this isn't some new guy.
Right.
This guy has been with Canonical for 15 years.
Wow, 15 years.
Involved in everything from, quality assurance all the way to the Ubuntu phone project.
That's right.
So he's got a long history there.
That's a serious commitment to a company.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in the tech world. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things change so quickly.
It's got to be a pretty special place to stay for 15 years.
It does make you wonder what keeps him there.
It does. And I think the fact that he was involved in the phone project, which was very ambitious, but ultimately kind of a...
Yeah, didn't quite take off the way they hoped.
Yeah.
It makes you think that this is somebody who's willing to experiment.
Yes.
Willing to try something new.
He's not afraid to take risks.
Yeah, exactly.
And now he's in charge of the desktop experience.
Exactly. So that's a pretty interesting combination, right?
Very interesting.
Someone with deep history, a willingness to try new things, and now he's in charge of the desktop.
It really does make you wonder, like, what direction is this going to go?
It does, yeah.
So what are some of the changes we're seeing already?
Well, one of the first big things is they're going with GNOME 48, which is a major update to the GNOME desktop environment.
Big time.
So that alone is going to bring a lot of changes and improvements.
So for those of us who may not be super familiar with GNOME, like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so GNOME 48...
What's going to change for the users?
Well, the main focus with GNOME 48 is really refining that user experience. Making everything more intuitive, making it more fluid. We're talking visual design improvements to performance. Resource management. It's going to make your Ubuntu desktop feel snappier, more responsive.
Awesome.
Especially on older hardware.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a welcome change for a lot of people.
I think so.
There's another change that the article talks about, and I'm not so sure how I feel about this one.
I'm intrigued.
They're replacing Evince, the default PDF reader, with a new application called Papers.
Papers?
Papers, yeah.
Interesting. Why would they do that?
That's my question. I mean, I've always liked Evince.
Yeah, Evince is simple. It just works.
It does what it needs to do.
Right.
And Papers, I don't know much about this.
So Papers is interesting.
Yeah.
It's known for focusing on academic research.
So
it brings features like integrated note-taking, citation management.
So
it's really designed for...
So it's more than just a PDF reader.
It is.
It's like a PDF...
A research tool.
Okay. So if you're a student...
Exactly. If you're dealing with lots of academic papers.
Okay. That makes sense.
This could be really powerful.
Yeah. I still wonder about, like, the average user who just wants to open a PDF.
Right. Are they going to miss that simplicity of Evince?
Are they going to miss Evince? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question.
We'll have to see how that plays out.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Now, here's something that I'm really excited about.
Okay. And I know a lot of users are going to be excited about this, too.
Okay.
Ubuntu 25.04 is finally addressing the BitLocker compatibility issue.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
This has been a pain point for years.
Huge.
If you've got a dual boot system with Windows installed and you're using BitLocker to encrypt your Windows partition, the Ubuntu installer has not been able to handle that.
Nope. You hit a wall.
It's just been a nightmare for people.
It's a major roadblock.
So the fact that they're addressing this, I think speaks volumes about their commitment to
accessibility.
Yeah. To making it
easier for people to switch.
Yes.
To use Ubuntu.
Yes.
And I think that's really important.
Absolutely.
Especially now.
I think it shows that they are really trying to make Ubuntu more welcoming to everybody.
Yeah.
Not just the hardcore Linux users, but people coming from Windows or other operating systems.
Absolutely. And, the articles suggest they're putting a lot of work into this. It's not just a quick fix. They're really trying to make the installer robust to handle those BitLocker encrypted drives.
That's great.
So that's going to be a big improvement for a lot of people.
That's awesome. And speaking of the installer,
yes,
it sounds like the installer itself is getting some improvements too.
It is. They're working on refining that modern desktop installer.
Okay.
Giving users more control over the process.
Right.
You're going to see more advanced partitioning options, more choices for encrypted installation.
Oh, wow.
All those little things that give you more power and flexibility.
So it seems like 25.4 is really about removing a lot of these little barriers that have kept people away from Linux in the past.
I think that's a great way to put it. Yeah, it's about breaking down those barriers.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual users either.
That's right.
They're making it easier to manage large deployments of Ubuntu desktops as well.
Exactly.
With enhancements to landscape their system management tool. This is going to be great for businesses, organizations.
For sure.
Looking to streamline their IT infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it just makes that transition to Ubuntu smoother.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the new leadership.
Yeah.
We've talked about GNOME 48.
Right.
We've talked about this interesting switch to papers and all the improvements to the installer and BitLocker compatibility.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's more.
There is. There's more to the story.
The article hints at some things that go beyond just the traditional desktop experience.
Absolutely.
So let's venture beyond the desktop now.
Let's do it.
So what's happening beyond the desktop?
Well, one area that's getting a lot of attention is Ubuntu Core.
Ubuntu Core.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is.
It's like this stripped down, super efficient version of Ubuntu.
Okay.
Designed for very specific tasks.
All right.
It's built around this idea of containers, which are these little self-contained packages of software. Okay. So it makes it incredibly versatile and secure.
So instead of having a full operating system on a tiny device or something, you have this very streamlined, focused system.
That's what it needs.
That just does what it needs to do.
Exactly.
That sounds perfect for the Internet of Things.
Yeah, it is.
All those little devices and sensors.
Smart home devices, industrial sensors, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And because it's designed with security in mind, it's perfect for those applications where reliability and protection are really important.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it's lightweight, too, so it can run on devices with limited resources.
It's amazing how Ubuntu is evolving to meet all these new challenges.
It is. It's really impressive.
Speaking of new challenges, the article also mentions some developments with WSL.
Oh, WSL.
Windows Subsystem for Linux.
Yeah, that's another exciting area.
You know, for those of us who aren't super familiar, can you just give us a quick, what is WSL?
Sure. So WSL lets you run a full Linux environment right inside Windows.
So you can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
And what Canonical is working on now is supporting this new tar-based distribution format for WSL.
Okay, now I'm really lost. What is a tar-based format?
So imagine you're packing for a trip, right?
Okay.
You wouldn't just throw everything randomly in your suitcase.
Hopefully not.
You'd organize it. You'd put things in bags.
I try to.
Right. So this tar-based format is kind of like that for WSL distributions.
Okay.
It packages everything up in a nice, organized, efficient way.
So it makes it easier to manage and install?
Exactly. Easier to distribute, install, and manage.
So this is all about improving the experience for people who want to run Ubuntu inside Windows.
Yeah, they want to make it as seamless as possible.
It's amazing how far WSL has come.
It really is.
You know, it used to be this niche thing for developers.
Yeah.
But now it's like a real platform for everyone.
For everyday users.
Yeah.
People who just want to try Linux.
It's really cool.
And it's a testament to the power of open source and collaboration.
Yeah, how so?
You've got Microsoft, who used to be like the enemy of open source.
Right.
Now they're embracing Linux through WSL.
Yeah.
And they're working with Canonical to make sure it all works smoothly.
It really is a big shift in the tech landscape.
It is. It's a win-win for everyone.
It makes you wonder where all of this is headed.
Yeah, what's the future of Ubuntu?
What's the end game here?
Well, it's clear that Ubuntu's not content with just being a desktop operating system.
You're right.
They're branching out, exploring new areas.
Yeah.
They're becoming this incredibly versatile platform. They can adapt to all sorts of different uses.
From tiny devices to the cloud.
To running inside Windows.
It's exciting.
It really is an exciting time to be an Ubuntu user.
With all these changes, though, I do wonder, are they losing sight of what made Ubuntu special?
What do you mean?
You know, the simplicity, the usability, the community.
That's a valid concern.
Are they going to be able to hold on to that?
But I think it's important to remember that those values are really deeply ingrained in Ubuntu's culture.
Okay.
They're not just going to disappear overnight.
You're right. They've always been about making technology accessible for everyone.
And I think that's going to continue to be important to them.
It's easy to get caught up in all the technical details.
It is.
But at the end of the day, it's about the user experience.
Absolutely.
It's about making technology work for people.
Right. Not the other way around.
And I think Ubuntu gets that.
Yeah, they do.
They understand that technology should empower people.
It should be a tool, not a barrier.
Exactly.
And they're committed to making it easy to use and enjoyable for everyone.
So as we look ahead to Ubuntu 25.04 and beyond, what are you most curious about?
Well, for me, it's about seeing how all these pieces fit together.
Okay.
How do the desktop improvements work with the advancements in Ubuntu Core and WSL?
Mm-hmm.
How do they keep that strong community as they grow?
Yeah.
And most importantly, how do they stay true to those core values?
Simplicity, accessibility, inclusivity.
Exactly. Those are the things that make Ubuntu special.
Those are the things we need to watch for.
I agree. It's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
Ubuntu's at a really interesting point in its journey.
It is.
They're not just making small changes.
They're redefining what it means to be a modern operating system.
Yeah. And that's exciting.
It's incredibly exciting. We're just at the beginning, I think.
We are at the beginning. It feels like we're on the cusp of something big with Ubuntu.
Yeah, it does.
And, you know, as I think about all of this, one thought comes to mind.
Okay.
And this is something I'd like you to consider as well as our listeners.
Right.
You know, we've talked about Ubuntu expanding its reach, becoming more versatile, even blurring the lines between operating systems with WSL.
Right. Right.
What excites you most about all of this?
That's a good question.
What possibilities do you see?
Well, I think
opening up for Ubuntu.
For me, what's really exciting is seeing how Ubuntu is pushing the boundaries of what Linux can do.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a desktop operating system anymore.
Yeah.
It's a platform for so many different things.
It is.
And I think that's incredibly exciting.
Yeah. And how do you think it'll shape the future of Linux on the desktop and beyond?
Well, I think we're going to see Linux become more and more mainstream.
Okay.
As Ubuntu continues to innovate and make it easier for people to use.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see it pop up in places we never expected.
That's a good point. And I think one of the keys to Ubuntu's success has been its community.
Absolutely.
So for everyone listening out there, don't keep your thoughts to yourself.
Share them.
Share your thought.
Get involved.
Engage in discussions. Yeah.
Be a part of shaping the future of Ubuntu.
Your voice matters. Your insights can contribute to the ongoing evolution of this platform.
That's right. Ubuntu thrives on feedback and collaboration.
Absolutely.
And the passion of its users.
So join the forums, join the communities, let your voice be heard.
You never know, your idea might spark the next big innovation.
Exactly. All right, well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive today.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did.
From the changes coming to the desktop to the advancements in Ubuntu Core and WSL. And I hope everyone listening has come away with a better understanding of the power and the versatility of Ubuntu.
Yeah, it's an amazing platform.
It really is. And it's exciting to see where it goes from here.
Absolutely.
So until next time.
Until next time.
Keep on learning, keep on exploring, and keep on diving deep into the fascinating world of technology.
We'll be back with more deep dives soon.
We'll see you then.